Hello and happy Wednesday night. My name is Carmen and I am one of the trainers with Destiny Global. And I'm wearing a heart sweater because it is love week. It is love month. And yesterday we celebrated Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day from all of us here at Destiny Global to you. Let me know in the comments if you have any special plans, if you celebrate Valentine's Day. We do here in our household. I believe love is one of the greatest commandments. And so when it comes to a day to put a special emphasis on that, it's a really special day. So anyway, hello and happy Wednesday. So we are back tonight with our success tip for this week. We have success tips, if you don't know it, live right here on the Facebook page every 2 weeks, where we bring you free content, free tips, short, anywhere from 10 to 20 to 30 minutes that are going to help you succeed inside of your life. Because at Destiny Global, that is what we are passionate about, is raising up a people that are a breed above and a breed apart, people that are going after their goals, people that are not settling for where they're at, but that are chasing down their dream life and taking it by storm. So welcome. Tonight, we're going to be going to part 2 of, if we go back about just over a month ago, we had a success tip where I talked about the enemies of success. And believe it or not, there are enemies of success. There are things that are going to try to stop you from succeeding, just like they're going to try to stop me. And half of the battle is just knowing that they're out there. Half of the battle is just knowing that, hey, like not having your head in the sand and being like, these things are going to try to keep me from succeeding. And when you are on the lookout for them, you can kind of watch out for them, and they're not going to have the same power when it comes to derailing you. So if you want to go watch that last video, go up to the videos, scroll down where I talk about the first 5, which was not planning, negative environment, living in the past, procrastination, and having no goals. All right. So, and we talk about each of them in deal. So we're going to go ahead and move along to 6 through 10 tonight, and then have a couple of really cool announcements at the end. So make sure you stay tuned. Don't log off early. And by the way, if you're watching, say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from, where you're watching from, whether you're on live with us right now or whether you're watching the recording. Where are you watching from? And if you get anything out of this video, if it helps you in any way, go ahead and give it a like, share it. We have a world out there that is in need of inspiration. We have a world out there that is hurting, and there's way more people hurting than there are people helping. And so when you run across a company like Destiny Global or a group of people that are doing their part to help change this world one life at a time, that needs to be shared with others, because they might not find this message or this company without your share. And so that's how I found the company back in 2006. Somebody shared the message with me, and it has forever impacted my life. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive in. So our 6th enemy of success is actually success. So the worst thing about success is a little bit. And so why? Because when we don't have success, we are hungry, we're teachable, we're coachable. We're like chasing this thing. We don't believe we're better than. We listen. We don't seem to know it all. Unfortunately, when so many people have a little bit of success, it is, you'll see people that have no success, and they'll be on this trajectory where they're going up, 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 up. Their career is going up. But the sad part is most people peak somewhere in their 30s. Like if you look at someone from 18 to 28, 29, that decade, their net worth, their salary doubles, triples, but somewhere in someone's 30s, they typically peak. Why? Because they have a little bit of success. And for most of us, when we have a little bit of success, we stop growing. And when you're green, you're growing. When you're ripe, you're rotten. And so you've got to make sure, and when you stop growing, for most of us, we fall into this thing called a comfort zone, where we've achieved things that we never thought we would, or we've achieved the thing that we thought we would, or when we're just comfortable. Our bills are paid, our marriage is okay, life is okay, our house is okay, everything's good. And the enemy to great is good. The enemy to greatness is just being good. And I believe that we weren't put here to be good. We weren't put here to be great. We weren't put here to impact this world, to change this world. And I believe that one person can still have one heck of an impact on this world. And so you're going to have to fight through the trap of success. When you get success, when you have a little bit of success, when you accomplish that thing, when you start making more money than you thought, when your house is bigger than you thought, when you start vacationing more than you thought you would, when you're giving your children a life that you didn't have. Do you have the personal growth, the personal development? Do you have the self-discipline to push through that success and to keep going, to keep expanding your territory? And when we start having a little bit of success, so often this is when the flattery comes in, right? People are like, oh, you're amazing. You're awesome. You're like the cat's meow. You're doing great. And if you look at 98% of the population, they surround themselves. It's a trap. It's a total trap. They surround themselves with people that are people that aren't doing more than them. Most people, if you look at your center of influence, it's people that have about the same income as you, people that dress about the same, like people that like the same things. And so I want to challenge you this year. We're in the second month of 2023. And I want to challenge you to make sure you are putting yourself in environments that challenge you. You're putting yourself around other people that challenge you. Iron sharpens iron. Okay? Jello doesn't sharpen iron. Cotton doesn't sharpen iron. Wood doesn't sharpen iron. Iron sharpens iron. So you got to make sure you have people you're flocking with that are going to help pull the best out in you. It's what I love. This last year, we started this coaching community called the Ignite Your Life Coaching Community. Ignite Your Life Coaching, where we do a core training every single month. We have a group coaching call every single month, but you are in a private Facebook group. You're in a community with some people that are just starting their businesses, but other people that have several multi-million dollar businesses. So you're running with people that are moving their life in a direction that are not settling, and you get a chance to rub elbows and flock with people that you just don't have access to on a daily basis. So worst thing about success is a little bit. You've got to avoid that. You have to avoid that trap and that enemy to success. All right, number 7, fear. And more importantly, fear of failure. And fear will, the thing about fear is, for most people, it's the fear of failing. It's the fear of other people's opinions. It's the fear of, what if I get my hopes up and it doesn't work out? And what I will tell you is, along the road to success, you're going to run into circumstances. You're going to run into times where you don't know what you're doing. You don't know how to do it. You don't know how to go forward. You don't know the next step. You don't know, you just don't know. And sometimes not knowing is okay. Sometimes it's okay just to make your best guess and keep moving forward. And so you can either there's 2 things that you can walk in. One is fear and one is faith. But you cannot walk in both. So it's picking, am I going to choose fear of failure? And by the way, failure is never final unless you stop. I'm going to say that again. Failure is never final unless you allow it to define you and you quit. Versus learning failure as a teacher, because that's what it is. Failure is one of the greatest teachers. We learn much more from our failures than we ever do from our successes. And so you get to choose to walk in fear of people's opinions, fear of failure, fear of what other people are going to think of you, fear of repeating the past, or you're going to walk in faith that I'm on the right path. And if I'm not, I can adjust, I can pivot, I can make some adjustments, but it's really picking one, fear or faith. And fear keeps us crippled on the sidelines. It keeps us from taking action. It keeps us from going after our dreams. It keeps us from stepping out and writing the book. It keeps us from doing the Facebook Live. It keeps us from making the post on Instagram. It keeps us from starting the YouTube channel. It keeps us from doing all these things. It keeps us from building your dream life. And you have so much potential. You were given this desire inside of you to succeed for a reason, all right? Number 8, Negative words. This this is this is huge because life and death is in the power of the tongue. All right. And as a, like, whatever it is that you think comes out of your mouth, right? And your words, so your words, here's what I'll say. I could go in so many different directions with this, but your words create your reality. Your words create your reality. And have you ever met somebody that's like a Debbie Downer? You're like, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, oh, I'm okay. It's been better. How's work? Oh, it's work. It's work. TGIF. Can't wait for Friday. Or they're not enthusiastic. They're not excited for life. They're just negative. They're simply negative. And so what I'm going to tell you is if your words are negative, your words create your reality. So you've got to make sure the things that you're saying line up with where you want to go, because your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. It only knows what you tell it. It only knows what you tell it. And I can remember when I was a morbidly obese woman and I didn't want to be, I wanted to be fit. And I was like, all right, okay, I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating healthy. And I was not one of the, some people I've met that are overweight and they like healthy food. I did not. I was overweight because I liked the junk. And so it was like, I could continue to say things like, well, I don't like apples. I don't like carrots. I don't like chicken breast. Or I could just say food is fuel and I'm eating according to my goals. Same thing when it came to working out. I can remember thinking, all right, because sometimes you've got to trick this. You've got to trick this. You've got to change your perspective. So I was like, you know what? I used to believe that God made those people that liked working out and then he made me. And I was not one of those people. In fact, I judged those people harshly. And when people used to be like, come on, Carmen, you're just one workout away from a good mood. Think of all the endorphins you would have. I'd be like, broad, back the heck up. I don't need your endorphins. I got a soda. I got caffeine, okay? But my point is, I didn't think I liked working out. And all of a sudden one day I thought, you know what, Carmen? You're going to hate working out as long as you say you hate working out. How would you act if you loved it? And so one day I decided to test out this theory that I had used in business. And before my workout, I started singing. Because if you sing, your brain is like, oh, she's singing. She must like this, because your brain's job is to move you away from pain, away from things you don't like, and closer to things that you like. And so I say all that to say, what are your words saying? And it doesn't matter if you mean them, because your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. We could spend an entire hours just talking about this one right here, but you've got to stay away from the trap of negative words. Same thing. People will get to Mondays or Sunday nights and they'll be like, oh man, tomorrow's Monday, versus, oh my goodness, tomorrow is Monday, another week, bring it on. I can't wait. It is Wednesday. It is a hump day. It is, in our world, it is pump day. It is we are halfway through the week and it's time to pump it up, or pump it up if you work out, and get excited for the rest of the week. And so being excited about your life, about your day, about your opportunity, about the chance to breathe is a choice. And making sure your words line up with where you want to go. Asking yourself, is what I'm saying lining up with where I want my life to go? And that is a huge trap for success. You can only speak negativity so long before your life is a reflection of it. All right. Number 9, enemy of success. And this is a huge trap. And that is the trap of perfection. The trap of perfection. And there's several different ways that this can, if you are someone who strives for perfection, first off, it's going to keep you on the sidelines. It's going to keep you from taking action because you only want to take perfect action. You won't want to take imperfect action. And newsflash, there's no such thing as perfect action. So you're literally striving or waiting for something that's impossible. The second part of that is if you are a leader and you want everything to be perfect and you believe that, you have a problem delegating because nobody else can do it because they're not going to do it the way I can do it, you have an army of one. You're never going to raise up leaders like that. Versus empowering your staff that it's about progress, not perfection. And if you do that and you believe in them and you nurture them through, you give grace when they do mess up, you take that as a teaching moment to teach them or show them. And a good thing to do when you're leading people, always remember the phrase, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So if you're ever giving critiques to your staff, to people that you lead, even inside of your home with your kids or your spouse, always start with something positive before you go to the negative, because a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And the medicine is the critique. The sugar is the attaboy, the encouragement, the good job. I'm proud of you for trying. But if you actually empower your staff, you empower your kids, you empower your family. You know, I've dealt with some people in coaching where they're like, Carmen, my husband won't do anything. He won't make a decision. And we get down to the root of it, and it's because he's been so critiqued every time he's made a decision and it's been wrong that he's gotten to a place where he won't make a decision at all because he's afraid to make the wrong one. Why? Because the spouse has been a perfectionist and expected perfect decisions. And so if you have people that you work with, if you have a company, if you are in management or you want to be, it's really important that you become an empowerer of people. If you want to have a team of leaders, if you want to build a company that can run without you, then you've got to empower your people. And if you become that kind of person, your company will scale and grow like lightning. But if you become the person who demands perfection, then you will become the bottleneck inside of your company. You can't build anything dynamic with the focus on perfection. It is progress versus perfection every single time. Our 10th and final enemy of success. And this one, you know, it's probably obvious, but as adults, like it's something that we just forget or we don't focus on, but it is poor health. It is poor health. And so if I were to offer you $1 million to never be able to walk again, would you take it? Most of you would say, heck no. What if I offered you $5 million but you were stuck in a hospital bed and you couldn't get up? Would you take $5 million to be in exchange for being stuck in a hospital bed for the rest of your life? Most of you would say absolutely not. However, most of us don't protect our health. And life is a marathon. It is not a sprint. It is a marathon. And your health is your wealth. Your health affects your stamina. Your health affects your mood. It affects the amount of grace that you give to other people. It affects how well and how long you can run this race. It affects your productivity. It affects your thinking, your clarity of thought. It affects your sleep. It affects your problem-solving ability. It affects almost everything in life that it takes to succeed. And if you have bad health and you're trying to succeed, it's going to take a lot more effort. And, you know, I used to be one of those women that when I built my first multi-million-dollar company, I was a morbidly obese woman. I was 288 pounds. I had been overweight since I was younger, and I was in my 20s. But as we age, our body, the weight starts to break our body down. And so at some point, we can't just say, oh, it's just cheesecake. Oh, it's just a milkshake. Oh, I'm just 250, I'm just 300 pounds. At some point, we got to realize that our health is our wealth and that our health is a part of our success. And long term, listen, you might be able to outrun bad health in your 20s, maybe in your 30s, but somewhere in your 40s and 50s, that bad health starts to catch up with us. And it starts to have us start putting, if we're not careful, we end up putting our dreams on hold because we're dealing with our health. We're dealing with these ailments. We're dealing with the disease. We're dealing with things. And so if you are watching this and you haven't had those yet, be proactive, not reactive. And if you're watching this and you're like, yeah, that is exactly what happened. It's never too late. It is never too late. We had a client, her name is Karen, and she got a diagnosis of IBS, stage 2 cancer, diabetes, and high blood pressure all in the same day. And she was a mother and a grandmother. And it was just like she had been overweight most of her life, bad health, didn't really put the right fuel in her body, none of the things, right? And she could have given up and given in or take her life back. And she chose to take her life back. She wound up losing over 140 pounds in just over a year, kicked cancer's butt. Her diabetes is in, she is on no medication for any of those things, goes to the doctor, and the doctors were amazed. What happened to her quality of life? What happened to every area of her life improved because she started taking her health seriously, okay? And there's a whole bunch. I mean, we could do like 6 parts when it comes to the enemies of success. But these, when I looked at the top things that are going to help you succeed inside of this year, and when I looked at the biggest pitfalls that most people run into, these were my top 10. And I guarantee if you go back and listen to these, most of you are dealing with 1, 2, 3, or more of these right now. And most of you are like, yeah, wow, Carmen, how did you know? Are you in my house? Are you watching me? Like, I just dealt with this, or I dealt with this last year. And so none of us are immune to these, no matter how much success you have. And so it's recognizing that if I want to succeed in life, these are going to be some of the biggest things that try to stop me. And so when they come and they start knocking on the door and you're like, you start having success and you start thinking like, yeah, I'm all that and a bag of chips. You'll be like, wait a minute. I'm doing really good right now, but the enemy to great is good. This is an enemy to my success. I need to watch out for this. I need to keep working like I did when I was brand new. So, and then you start recognizing it, and then it helps you push past the enemy because you see it waving at you. And when you shine light on something, when you recognize something, it no longer has the same power over you. And so, yeah, let me know in the comments if there's any of these that you've dealt with before or that you're currently dealing with right now. I would love to know. I'd love to be able to pray for you as you're going through these. But with that being said, a couple quick announcements. So we just came out of our last First Steps to Success in San Antonio just a couple weeks ago. And if you have not heard, our next First Steps to Success is going to be taking place April 15th, 16th, and 17th. No, I'm sorry. 14th, 15th, and 16th. The 14th through the 16th in Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas, we are coming at you. We are going to be in a beautiful hotel there. The conference, the hotel, everything's going to be right there. We will link not only the link down below to get your ticket, but you'll also see how to reserve your room. You don't want to stay off property. It's going to cause you their long weekends. You want to make sure you maximize those weekends. So for those of you that are going to be there, make sure you're staying on property. That way you can really maximize that weekend. You're going to be able to rub elbows. Again, community is so important. And yeah, so that's going to be taking place April 14th through the 16th. And so I'm so excited. I really love, virtual is great and being able to communicate through video is amazing. But when you sit in a room with people that are going in a certain direction, that aren't taking no for an answer, that are moving their lives to success, that are building their dream life, it is just powerful beyond, like, my words can't even do it justice. So anyway, happy Love Week. I hope you're having a great week. Let's make it an amazing week on purpose. And we will be back in another couple weeks with another live success tip. So thank you for joining. We will see you later, Gator.